Would call John Yohn to the stand, Your Honor.
Yeah, Mr. Yohn, step in, please. You'd come forward to the deputy clerk, raise your right hand, and she will swear you in.
You do solemnly swear that the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
And come over here and have a seat in the witness stand. Mr. Jones, when you're ready with your questions.
Thank you. Can you tell us your name, please?
My name is John Yohn.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an investigator for the Adams County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you worked as an investigator for the Adams County Sheriff's Office?
Approximately 2.5 years.
Before you were an investigator with the Sheriff's Office, were you a deputy with the Sheriff's Office?
Yes, sir.
And how long were you a deputy with the Sheriff's Office?
Approximately 6 months.
I want to talk to you about an investigation that you were part of that started on or about November 9th and 10th of 2021. Do you recall that investigation?
Yes, sir.
In the course of that investigation, was a suspect developed?
Yes, sir.
Was the name of that suspect Bradley Yohn?
Yes, sir.
After the 9th of November 2021, were you and other deputies looking for Bradley Yohn?
Yes, sir.
Was he found?
Yes.
Where was he found?
He was located in Springfield, Illinois.
Once you learned that he was located in Springfield, Illinois, did you go to Springfield as well?
Yes, sir.
He was found at a particular address in Springfield?
Yes.
Was that address 1906 East Cornell Avenue in Springfield, Illinois?
Yes.
And was a search warrant executed on that location?
Yes.
Now, in the course of executing that search warrant, were certain items of property seized both from that location and from the defendant's person?
Yes.
I want to talk first about items that were seized from his person. During the course of your investigation, was a brown, gold, beige purse recovered from his person?
Yes.
In fact, was he wearing it at the time of his arrest?
Yes.
I'm going to hand or show you what's been marked as Features Exhibit 11. I've taken out of the bag People's Exhibit number 11. Is that the purse that was seized from the person of the defendant?
Yes, sir.
That purse had certain items of personal property in it.
Yes.
It had ABS checks.
Yes.
Checks from American Builder Supply.
Yes, sir.
Checks that were made payable to Tina.
Yes.
It also had a voter ID card for Tina Loman, correct?
Yes.
There were also other items of personal property in that purse, correct?
Correct.
Was there a bag of jewelry in that purse?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been removed from a brown paper bag marked People's Exhibit 7. This bag of jewelry, was that found in that purse?
Yes.
The purse that was removed from the defendant's person.
Yes.
The same purse that had the voter ID card for Tina Loman.
Yes.
The same purse that had checks made payable to Tina.
Yes.
Checks from American Builder Supply, Tina's business.
Yes, sir.
In that same purse that was removed from the defendant's shoulder that had Tina Loman's voter ID card, checks to Tina, and that bag of jewelry that we saw, was there also a set of keys?
Yes.
showing you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 10. Does that appear to be the set of keys?
Yes, sir.
Keys that were removed from the purse the defendant was wearing.
Yes, sir.
Those keys belong to a Toyota Avalon, is that right?
Correct.
In the course of your investigation and executing that search warrant at 1906 East Cornell Avenue in Springfield, where the defendant was found, did you also make entry into a motorhome on that property?
Yes, sir.
And when you made entry into that motorhome, did you also find some items of jewelry in that motorhome?
Yes.
And Ms. Keck, if you could pull up People's Exhibit 58. Up on the screen, and you have a monitor there, in the middle of the screen there is a women's gold watch and a pin that we've learned has the Star Trek insignia and diamonds on it. Is that what you recovered from that motorhome?
Yes.
Motorhome on the same property at 1906 East Cornell where the defendant was found.
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as People Exhibit 12. Does that appear to be the actual watch and pendant itself?
Yes, sir.
Also, when executing that search warrant at 1906 East Cornell, were two items, specifically a chainsaw and hedge trimmer, recovered?
They were later recovered, yes.
At that address.
At that address.
I'll show you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 15. Does that appear to be the chainsaw that was recovered from 1906 East Cornell Avenue in Springfield, Illinois, where the defendant was found?
Yes.
And People's 16? Does that appear to be the hedge trimmer that was found at 1906 East Cornell Avenue, where the defendant was found?
Yes.
Your Honor, we'd ask that People's Exhibits 15 and 16 be admitted into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor, no.
Peoples 15 and 16 are admitted without objection.
I do apologize, I need to go back to the purse that was found on the defendant again, People's Exhibit 11. Inside that purse, was there a significant amount of U.S. currency also found?
Yes.
And I'll show you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 6. Does that appear to be the currency that was found in that purse?
Yes.
That currency was counted, is that correct?
Yes.
According to the information, there were 3 $5 bills,
Yes.
62 $10 bills,
Yes.
143 $20 bills,
Yes.
19 $50 bills,
Yes.
and 39 $100 bills.
That's correct.
So it's a total of $8,345 found in the purse that the defendant was wearing at the time of his arrest.
Correct.
And that money was found in the same purse where Tina Logan's voter ID card was,
Yes.
where Tina's keys were,
Yes.
and where her jewelry was,
Yes.
and the checks that were made payable to Tina as well from her business.
Correct.
Your Honor, we'd ask that People's Exhibit 6 be admitted into evidence.
Any objection?
No.
All right, People's Exhibit 6 is admitted without objection.
When Mr. Yohn was searched, the defendant was searching, I guess, on the record to be clear, the person that you've executed that search warrant on, the person that was arrested in Springfield at that address, is he here in court?
Yes.
Could you identify him for us, please?
It's the defendant.
Your Honor, we'd ask that the record reflect he's identified the defendant.
Record will reflect that this witness has identified the defendant.
Was he wearing anything on his feet?
Yes.
A pair of shoes?
Yes, sir.
Were those shoes collected?
Yes.
People's Exhibit 14, one pair of white size 12 Reebok men's shoes worn by Yohn at the time of his arrest. Are these the shoes that were seized?
Yes.
Your Honor, we'd ask that People's Exhibit 14 be admitted into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
People's Exhibits 14 is admitted without objection.
While the defendant was wearing those shoes, did you also take photographs of the shoes?
Investigator Miller did. Yes, sir.
Photographs were taken.
Yes.
I would ask the bailiff to approach the witness, hand him People's Exhibits 66, 67, 73, and 74. Have you had a chance to look at those?
Yes, sir.
And are those photographs of the shoes that are in People's Exhibit 14, the shoes that were worn by the defendant at the time of his arrest on November 10th, 2021?
Yes.
Your Honor, we'd ask that those exhibits be admitted into evidence and ask leave to publish them to the jury.
All right. What numbers were those?
I apologize, it's 66, 67, 73, and 74, Your Honor.
Mr. Yohn, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so People's Exhibits 66, 67, 73, and 74 will be admitted and may be published without objection.
Up on the screen now is People's Exhibit 65, which has already been introduced into evidence. Investigator Shoney, the white shoes that we see at the bottom, these are the white shoes that we're talking about, correct?
Yes.
And People's 14 and the photographs we're going to need to just, correct?
Yes, sir.
Next slide, please. In this photograph, the defendant is standing on his right foot. His left foot is raised in the air so you can see the tread on the bottom of that shoe. Fair to say?
Yes, sir.
At the heel of that shoe, can you read that word even though it's upside down?
Yes, it says Reebok.
Reebok. Next slide, please. Then we see a picture of the defendant's right leg raised, standing on his left foot, showing the tread of the bottom of that right shoe. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And at the heel of that shoe, can you read that word for me?
It also says Reebok.
And you see a hexagonal, hexagonal pattern on the tread of that shoe.
Yes.
Next slide, please. Again, the bottom of the shoe showing the tread pattern and the word Reebok at the heel. That's People 73.
Yes.
And People 74.
Yes.
Again, showing the tread pattern, hexagonal pattern, Reebok on the heel of that shoe.
Yes, sir.
During the course of your, we're going to have some more photos so you can walk. During the course of your investigation, were you looking for a Toyota Avalon in retrospect to the keys that we saw in the purse?
Yes.
And was that vehicle found?
Yes, sir.
Where was it found in relationship to where the defendant was found? How many blocks away?
It was located by the Springfield Police Department near the intersections of 15th and Cornell, so approximately 4 blocks away.
And if we could pull up People's 51. This is the vehicle that was found approximately 4 blocks away from where the defendant was found.
Yes, sir.
And the keys that we saw already were to this car.
Yes, sir.
The keys and the purse that the defendant was wearing.
Yes, sir.
Get the lights. Did you also interview the defendant, Bradley Yohn?
Briefly, yes, sir.
On November 11, 2021?
Yes,
Did you ask him about the last time he was in Quincy?
I did.
When you asked,
Objection.
Hey, grounds?
So this has already been suppressed. It's not admissible. Any statement made has already been suppressed due to there not being a statement. We went over this approximately 3.5 months ago.
Well, we'll take a brief recess and ask that the jury members return to the jury assembly room. We'll take up the objection. So, Mr. Yohn, which order do you believe addressed this issue?
Excuse me, I didn't hear you.
Which order, pretrial order, do you believe addressed the issue?
It was a motion to suppress a statement in case they wanted to make something of it. It was the statement, I believe it was from June 15th, motion that we did not hear until, I believe it may have been January or February. It was either a June 15th motion or June 21st, I believe, of 2022.
June 15th of 2022 does not have any motion regarding defendant statements. You believe the other date was what?
June 21st. It was sometime in June. It was two motions that were not taken up for approximately 7 months. And they ended up being taken up in, I believe, January or February. So it's been a little bit over 3.5 months ago.
Ms. Keck or Mr. Jones, are you finding any such motions?
I see a motion to suppress June 17th, but that wasn't about,
We're looking at 2022.
see a June 17th regarding Jeannie Pyatt and Stephanie Hendricks. And the statements of Christina Lohman, I remember a motion to suppress on the statements of Christina Lohman that we confessed because we weren't going to use them.
All right, Mr. Yohn, if you can find the motion you're raising concerning your statements, defendant statements.
Your Honor, it doesn't matter. I didn't know anything or wasn't able to say anything that would prejudice me, but it was suppressed. It was suppressed early this year. It was one of the motions that took a long time to be heard.
And you've repeated that 3 times, but that doesn't give me any direction as to trying to find this motion of the numerous motions and orders entered pre-trial. So
It may be in the beginning of June or July. I'm sure it was June.
apologies, Your Honor. We're going through the orders to try not to find anything. We won't go into a statement, Your Honor.
All right.
But we, again, if the defendant chooses to testify, we would reserve the right to use it on rebuttal if he chooses to testify.
That's fine with me. I will be testifying.
Okay. We can have the jurors brought back in, please. For the record, the jurors have returned to the jury box. And Mr. Yohn had made an objection to a question by the state. The state is
Withdrawing the question, Your Honor.
State's withdrawing the question. All right. So that question will be withdrawn and jury instructed to disregard that question.
Just a couple more, apologies, Your Honor.
You're fine. Go ahead.
Just a couple more questions, investigator. You were with Ms. Fields on November 9th, 2021, when she collected the shoe prints that were in the house, correct?
Correct.
And the shoes that were collected from the defendant were not collected until the next day, the 10th or the early morning hours of the 11th of November, correct?
Correct.
That's all the questions I have. Thank you very much.
Mr. Yohn, any cross?
Give me one moment, Your Honor. Investigator Shoney, you arrived in Springfield. Can you relay the turn of events that caused you to conclude the finding of these items?
Upon my arrival, I was informed you were taken in custody by the U.S. Marshals. The address that you were taken in custody at, I completed a search warrant for that address, which led me to the discovery of the items you have referenced.
And can you describe what you saw upon the search? Initially entering the scene, the property of 1906 East Cornell?
There was a motor home parked on the rear of the residence off of an alley. Upon my arrival, I immediately observed the person questioned sitting on a chair outside of said motor home.
And you tell us a little bit about the procedure in a search. How, for example, do you search first, take pictures last, pictures first, as you go?
overall pictures of the scene are taken initially before we disturb or move anything. And then once the overall pictures are taking of items as we gather them prior to us disturbing them in any way.
And when you first arrived to Springfield, it's well known that there was 4 deputies and 2 went, two went one way and 2 went another.
Correct.
Two going to the police department to interview, and 2 going to observe the scene, I'm guessing.
Correct.
You weren't one that went to the scene to observe.
No.
You went directly to the police station.
Yes.
And the other 2 officers, I won't name them right in this moment, but they went to the scene and they observed. What was their basis for going directly to the scene? You as an officer, in your opinion.
I cannot testify to their basis of going to the scene. That would be up to them, Mr. Yohn.
Yes, sir. They then went to the police department themselves, and you helped them in obtaining a warrant, correct?
I obtained the warrant myself, Mr. Yohn.
And then you left and went to the scene to search.
Yes.
And upon your search, your warrant held a specific outline of what you were to search. I believe it was the motorhome, the curtilage, surrounding outhouse buildings, such as sheds and whatnot. Did you search all of it, all of that curtilage?
I personally searched the motorhome and the exterior of the motorhome.
And there were suitcases located outside that motorhome.
Correct.
You did not search them?
I did.
You did, and to your best recollection, were there any other shoes in them suitcases?
Not to my knowledge, Mr. Yohn.
And you did not search the outbuildings, the sheds?
I personally did not, no.
All right. Do you recall if it was you that took the pictures or another deputy?
That was the crime scene services individual from the Springfield Police Department that took those photographs.
Mr. Fannin, I believe.
Correct.
Mr. Shoney, as far as that purse is concerned, that purse was located there on a steel chair, I'm guessing a metal chair.
Yes.
Right outside the motorhome. Could you, there was a pill bottle located around that, correct?
Correct.
Was it in the purse?
I don't believe so.
You obviously conferred with Springfield detectives, Springfield police.
Correct.
As there was a homicide in the direct vicinity, true?
Correct.
And you and your other deputies, y'all left at approximately, I believe it was 1:30 to 2:30 from here in Quincy, Adams County, to head that way?
I would have to reference the report, Mr. Yohn. I don't remember what time we left town.
It was in the afternoon.
Okay.
And there was a homicide in the direct vicinity, correct?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
And know that homicide did not have anything to do with the defendant?
I didn't investigate the homicide, Mr. Yohn. I'm unaware.
But it's common knowledge, correct?
Not to me, Mr. Yohn.
All right. And upon the search, you said you searched the immediate exterior. Did you search the purse yourself?
On scene, I looked in the purse as the photographs were taken. But yes, I did search the purse.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Step down, thank you.
Your Honor, we'd reserve,
From your subpoena?
Your Honor, we would reserve the right to call him as a rebuttal witness.
Okay.
I would
You
myself, too,
remain
Your Honor.
available under your witness subpoena, sir. Thank you. State ready for the next witness?
Yes, people would call Kelsey Miller.
You come forward to the Deputy Circuit Clerk and raise your right hand. She'll swear you in.
You do solemnly swear that the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
If you have a seat over here to my right, the witness stand, please. Mr. Jones, when you're ready with your questions.
Thank you, Your Honor. For the record, can you tell us your name?
Kelsey Miller.
Miss Miller, what do you do for a living?
I'm an investigator with the Adams County Sheriff's Office.
Can I have you pull that microphone a little closer to you? What do you do for a living?
I'm an investigator with the Adams County Sheriff's Office.
Much better. Investigator Miller, were you involved in the investigation of a crime that occurred on the 4300 North Bottom Road on November 9th, 2021?
Yes.
And in the course of that investigation, were you assigned a specific task as it related to a court order and the person of the defendant, Bradley Yohn?
Yes.
And what was that task?
To collect a buccal swab.
Did you do that in this case?
I did.
The person you collected the buccal swab from, are they here in court?
Yes.
Is that person seated directly to my, not directly to my left, but to my left wearing a blue shirt?
Yes.
Your Honor, we'd ask that the record reflections identified the defendant as the individual she collected that buccal swab from.
The record will so reflect.
Can you tell me briefly what a buccal swab is?
It's a swab from the inside of your mouth to collect DNA.
And then that swab is then transferred to the Illinois State Police crime lab.
That's correct.
Is there a procedure that you use to collect that buccal swab?
Yes.
And what is that procedure briefly?
I have the individual swish their mouth out with water. Then using gloved hands, I take one Q-tip on either the left or right cheek, stay on that cheek, wipe it up and down, and then do the same thing with the next swab.
And did you do that in this case with the defendant?
I did.
Did you collect both those buccal swabs
Yes.
and put them into evidence?
Correct.
I'm holding in my hand People's Exhibit 17. It says one sealed envelope containing one buccal swab collected from Bradley Yohn. The collection date is November 22nd, 2021, and the collection officer is you, Kelsey Miller. Is this the buccal swab that you collected from the defendant?
Yes.
Your Honor, we'd ask that People's Exhibit 17 be introduced into evidence.
Any objection?
No, sir.
People's Exhibit 17 is admitted without objection.
Thank you, Investigator Miller. That is all the questions I have.
Any cross-examination?
It's a buccal swab, that's all it is, correct? Swab of DNA, correct?
Correct.
Simply for testing. Your Honor, I'm finished with the witness right now. I'd like to call her at a later time.
If he wants to go beyond the scope of our questions, we have no objection if he wants to do that now.
Do you wish
Not
to?
right this moment, Your Honor. No, I do not want to do it right this moment.
You will be excused from testifying at this time, but you'll need to remain available to be recalled as a witness.
Okay.
State, have any further witness?
Judge, that's all the witnesses we have for today. The remaining witnesses we have are all lab personnel from the Illinois State Police that were not available until tomorrow morning, but they will all be here. All three of them will be here tomorrow morning. Would also tell the court, outside of those lab people, we may have one other witness, but that's it. And I would anticipate being done with our case probably by noon tomorrow.
All right. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, jury, we're now going to recess for the evening. You may go about your normal affairs, and you must not discuss this case with anyone, including family members, friends, or your fellow jurors.